And welcome back. It is Ray Michaels here with Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. We have the one, the only, Craig Berland.
Hi, Ray. Always good to see you.
Good to see you. I should say Chairman Berland. Craig is the chairman of Maricopa County for the Republican Party, and you've been doing some amazing things over the last couple of years.
We've been busy, that's for sure. We are elected for a 2-year term, and so we were elected in 23, and we're rerunning for a re-election this January, here in a few weeks. And at the time of our election, I told the people, I said, I think Maricopa County needs to be more relevant. And to do that, we needed to raise millions of dollars, not thousands. We needed to have an office that we could call our own. We needed some infrastructure like canvassing tools and that kind of thing. And we've been very fortunate that some very significant donors have stepped forward. We have a beautiful new office now. We have our own website that's a membership base that's just now starting to see its potential. And we have a canvassing tool. And all of that resulted in what was truly amazing, Ray, and I think you've seen some of it.
Yeah.
The office became the rock or the foundation on which all Republican things in Maricopa County happened. And it was inspiring to see. I mean, including a remarkable election night party to celebrate our ultimate goal, and that was to get Donald J. Trump elected as president.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, because I've been involved in the party for many, many years, and it's always been, I always thought it was surprising. Maricopa County is the largest county in the country that votes Republican.
That's correct.
Yet we didn't have an infrastructure. There wasn't an office building. There wasn't a printer. There wasn't a place to have a meeting. There wasn't a place to do phone banking or to strategize. And you saw that coming in right away. We as district chairs, because each county has districts, we'd have to hop from venue to venue with our own briefcase and paperwork, and then we'd have to go home and then do the same thing over. But you and your team, your amazing team, has allowed us to now have like you said, the foundational place, the headquarters that even the state party was involved in, even the Donald J. Trump campaign was involved in, that other counties were involved in, where the candidates could come and bring their information to be sent out everywhere. I mean, it was just amazing. What a change.
And not to forget the 28 phone bank room.
Oh,
yes.
So you were able to follow up phone banking, as well as in Maricopa County we have verification for votes. If they forgot to sign, if something didn't look right, you can actually cure the ballot, which takes quite a bit of time. But you were able to activate just a huge team to be able to cure ballots.
We the Democrats wanted to extend the curing time, right? If you remember. And so the county called me and they said, are you in favor of extending the curing time? We were almost done by the time they called. And I said, heck no, are you kidding me? Our team was so effective that it was night and day difference than what it was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Sometimes when somebody is elected as a chairman, you see them, they're the figurehead, they delegate a lot, but you don't really see them around. Craig is the type of person, because we were down at what we call McTech. It's where they do tabulations and counting the votes and having to go through all the ballots. Craig is there. He's there. He's working overtime. He shows up at all the meetings. He's there every day. I've never seen a chair participate and be involved as much as you.
It was very gratifying. And I guess maybe one story it's kind of unique. And I was setting up my office, and we got the phone bank running, and we were at that time of the deal. It was early on. Early voting had just started, but we had a woman call in and said, "Hey, I was born in Singapore. I've been a naturalized citizen. I've lived here for 34 years. I've never registered. I never voted, but I want to vote for Donald J. Trump. Can you help me?" And we're going, yes, we can, right? And so I called the county, and they go, "Oh, well, we got a problem here with her documentation." And what happened was that she got a voter registration number, but then they made her inactive. And I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm looking at all this data right here. Let's just go over it. And they finally said, oh, our mistake. We didn't put the right dot on the right I and whatnot, right? And so they registered to vote. So I called her up and I said, look, I got good news for you. You can go and vote. Why don't you do it right now? Because early voting is over. That way, if there's a problem, I can help you, right?
Right.
So she goes down and shows her ID. It went through. She got her ballot. She voted. She came back, she called me, and she cried on the phone for 5 minutes.
Oh,
now,
my
you don't
gosh.
get any better than that, right?
You know, and that's what's so amazing, because your vote is so essential. It's so important. And I know that just by adding the building and adding the phone banking and adding the infrastructure and adding the data, I mean, you were finding out who is voting that very day so that we could go out and encourage people to vote. I mean, I've never seen anything. The operation that you created, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, well, we switched from getting people registered and calling and making sure people were registered, you know, because we knew people that were inactive and that kind of thing, or like very early on, we were contacting people that were registered but hadn't voted in the last election. And then we switched over to a stringent get out the vote. So we said, okay, because what happens is because we're the party, Republican Party, I get data from the county that says, here's all the ballots that we sent out. And then as soon as they start coming back in, I get a report every 8 o'clock in the morning that says, here's who voted yesterday. So you subtract the two lists, and you go, okay, these are the people that haven't voted. So we start pounding the bricks, getting all of those people to the polls. And so one of the things that I did is I was getting a report for my data guy, right? And so I was broadcasting to the county the Republican turnout. Now, this isn't the vote because I don't know how people voted, but I know that, hey, if you turn out to vote, they know your voter ID number, and therefore they know you're a registered Republican or Democrat. And then we grouped everybody else, libertarians and PNDs, into the other category.
Right.
So every day I was publishing the Republican turnout versus everybody else. And I'm going, oh my gosh. I mean, because Republicans typically don't turn out early, right?
Right.
Well, early, we're leading the Republicans by, as I remember right, it's like 16%.
Yeah, leading the Democrats.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? Republicans?
Yeah.
I apologize.
No, the Republicans were leading. Yeah.
Republicans were leading the Democrats by about 16%. And then I kept monitoring this every day as the early voting continued, right? And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm going, oh God, Ray, now we got a problem. The Republicans have shot their entire wad on the early voting and nobody's going to be there on election day. Not true. It just got boom, boom, boom. So when people tell you that some of our Republican candidates lost, I'm having a hard time because we had a tremendous Republican turnout.
Yeah.
The Democrats, they didn't turn out. Now, the one thing that did happen on election day was that the other group that I described, they turned out pretty big. But the Republicans also turned out pretty big on election day. So it was a huge win for us.
Well, I know you have a lot of plans. And like you said, in the past, a county as large as Maricopa and as important in the country as Maricopa had very low bar standard. Their standards were, hey, as long as we raise enough money to get by the next month, we're okay. As long as we have one or two donors, we're okay. But your sites were far greater than that.
Yeah, I knew, or at least in my heart, I felt I knew how important an office, I call it the rock, the foundation, right? That we needed an office. And after we actually got that office, and as beautiful and as accommodating and as is, I truly was underestimating the value. It is a night and day shift for us as the Republican Party in Maricopa County.
Yeah, and it made a huge difference. And I'm sure that even President Donald J. Trump was greatly appreciative. I'm sure he talked to his friend Gina Swoboda, who's the chair of the whole state, but just the accolades coming down and the representation that we have in Maricopa County was instrumental. And we showed that at the national convention as well. We showed that we fully supported Donald J. Trump for that office. No matter what you heard in the media, no matter what you heard, we did leaps and bounds, keeping Donald Trump exactly where he should be to represent us. Now, we have a big meeting coming up here in January.
We even did the patriotic ear patch.
We did. Yeah, it went viral. If you saw the ear patches at the National Convention, that was Arizona. That was us.
I had a friend for mine that's currently in Singapore and Taiwan, not Singapore. He's in Taiwan. And after the convention, he sends me this email and he goes, I just saw you at the convention with with the ear patch on, right?
It was all done in solidarity for President Donald J. Trump. So a big meeting coming up, not only for the county, but for the state. This happens every couple years. And like you said, there's another election. So you are now fulfilling your 2-year term.
Correct.
And you are going to be running again with an amazing team. So you're going to have, I believe, 3 of the same members plus 2 additional ones.
That's correct.
And both those other 2 have done remarkably. You know, when you think somebody runs for an office, you really don't know where they stand or are they going to work hard. Both of these have gone over and above in doing the work for the county. So you have a very, very strong slate coming up.
We do. We're very happy with the group. You know, like you said, Shelby and I have worked so closely together. We just had a big win yesterday in court.
Yes.
So we actually are going to be awarded some emails from Stephen Richard. So we're pretty happy the way things are going. But I will say that while our number one goal was met, and that was get Donald J. Trump elected as president, right? So we're very happy with that, and I'm very confident in his capabilities. But I also believe that as trained as what I call the unity party is, that they're not going to go away easily, that we still have a battle up. And
yes.
People that are starting to go to sleep and relax and say, hey, we did what we needed to do, now he needs to take care of it. Donald J. Trump needs our public support, and he'll need it for the next 2 years. And then 2 years from now, we've got, at least in Arizona, I'm not familiar with all the other states as I am in Arizona, but the bottom line is we got some very, very important elections that we got to win.
We do, and that's what I appreciated so much from your leadership, is that Maricopa County, yes, of course, the presidential race, national perspective is very, very important, but you in Maricopa County were instrumental in the school boards, in the county and the city races, because we encompass several cities, but you were involved in all of that. You were supporting all of the candidates where it actually touches the people of Maricopa County. You know, when you think about, things going on in Washington, D.C., great. Yeah, it affects us, but not like it affects us at the school board level. And we were able to get some great candidates in there with the support of the county.
Yeah, the bottom line is we had one LD chair in the West Valley that really stood up and said, I'm willing to help lead this. And Carol Ayotte, and she can't be thanked enough. And she started out in the West Valley and got a bunch of legislative districts in the East Valley, or West Valley, excuse me. And then I encouraged her. I said, hey, maybe because of the overlap in Phoenix, and all of a sudden, we got Chandler and Mesa, and pretty soon it was the whole county was participating in meetings, and it was contagious, and it was very, very
She did a
inspiring.
phenomenal job. Yeah, it really helped out a lot. Well, we're excited about the meeting coming up in January. I think you're ready for it, right? This is a really big event.
It is, and it's, as you mentioned a little bit ago, Maricopa County is indeed the largest Republican voting county in the United States. And while in many ways that's good, when it comes time to have an annual meeting and every precinct committeeman from Maricopa County is invited, the bottom line is other than venues like here today,
it's hard to find.
It's really hard to find something that's going to accommodate us. And and while it's a good problem, we're starting to outgrow the venues where we're at, and so we're going to have to step up and because we believe that one of the key things for public support for the 26 elections is the addition of PCs and getting them engaged. And I call it communicate and educate. Communicate and educate.
You know, I'm so glad you brought this up because a PC or precinct committeeman basically represents their neighborhood, right? And you have precincts, and then the precincts are in legislative districts. So how much did Maricopa County increase their precinct committeemen just over the last 2 years? I mean, it was exponential. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know percentage, but let's see, it's going to be in the high 20%, I believe, if my old mathematical
and that's
mind.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's not
the
like
thing that's amazing is that if you look at the number we have in well, let's just call really round numbers, there are about 4,000 precinct committeemen, right? And what do you think the Democrats have in Maricopa County? Because everybody was saying, "Oh, this is a Democratic county. This is a Democratic county," right?
I don't know.
A little over 1,000.
We have almost 4 times.
Almost 4x.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and now that we've swung Donald J. Trump's 6 point out of all the swing states, Maricopa County was the largest swing of all the swing states.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. So we got the meeting coming up. We're excited about that. Good luck to the entire slate, because I know with the trajectory that you have right now in the last 2 years, what you've accomplished, it's going to be amazing the next 2 years on what you can bring to the table.
You know, what we can start doing, because the foundation now is there, we can start developing all those things that we would like to do. And you know, one of the things is that we need to continue raising funds. I have some good news that I'll announce at the annual meeting in that regard. But the bottom line is we need to raise some more funds, and we need to start being proactive. And you know, we're doing the research right now on some of the election stuff. But the bottom line is I think we all know deep down in our heart that we've got to have one day, one vote at the precinct level. Right. And you know, while I think we're moving in the right directions, one of the things I'm talking about is we didn't have time in the last 2 years to really engage with the legislatures downtown the way I wanted to. Yeah. So that's one of the things that's on my hit list. Creating infrastructure for 2022. For example, you know, there's legislative districts that are still predominantly Democrat. Even though we're overwhelmingly Republican, right, there's still stuff on the west side of town, for example, that are predominantly Democrat. We can't just give the Democrats that show, right? We've got to have candidates that we've developed and helped train and help fundraise so that we at least put a hurt on the Democrats if they want to keep it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're spot on. We need to go to the legislature and have them change things of what we, the people, want. And we have to put pressure on them.
We need legislature. Of course, a big complaint is, well, our communists in the governor's seat won't sign it. I go, well, you know what? Have you asked me to help put public pressure on her yet? No, you haven't. So you haven't done everything you can to do what you need to do to get it through her. Yeah. And the bottom line is that's where I'm talking about. If we, the people, go to sleep and we don't give that public support, everybody from Donald J. Trump down to our state legislatures are going to suffer from it. We've got to do it.
Now is not the time to coast.
No,
now's the time to put more pressure on the accelerator. All right. Well, Craig Berland, thank you so much. Chairman Berland, chairman of the Maricopa County Republican Party. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Right. Thank you.
And I'll
so
tell
much.
you what, I've never seen somebody work so hard. I mean, I could tell you story after story after story, just exhaustive. I've never seen anybody work as hard. But it's great to have you here, and thank you for joining us here at America Fest 2024. And I'm Ray Michaels, and until next time, we'll see you real soon.